So the first and second criteria of a champion are power and influence. Now, they're actually related in that they are both personal characteristics of the buyer themselves, but especially in this modern buying age, it's critical that we know how they're different and why potentially one may be more important than the other. You see, when a buyer has power, this represents their level of authority. This is usually something tangible like their formal position in the organization or their role in a specific decision process. Power means that they've been appointed the strength and authority over this decision. Now, when I was a rep and power and influence was introduced to me, I actually thought they were the same thing for a while. But what I learned and what is becoming even more evident in today's modern sell that involves far more alternative, innovative, and often confusingly overlapping solutions is that champions must have influence. Unlike power, which is about strength, influence is about people, the ability to get other people to change their perspectives and behaviors. And while power is often appointed by the organization, influence is earned. I learned this the hard way in an opportunity years ago where I knew I was working with power. I was selling to the largest travel reservation system on the planet. And on the org chart, the guy that I was working with was at the top of the application team. They gave him a VP title, people underneath him. They gave him power and authority. So when he'd ask me to jump, I wouldn't ask how high, I would just show up at headquarters jumping. And in the tech world, that meant demos, workshops, business cases, proof of concepts. But when the deal kept pushing and pushing, I learned that while he did have power, he lacked influence. He lacked the credibility to influence the other people because what I learned was that there were other application leaders and they were all mesmerized with the new startups of the day that solved their problems. So they got the funding for their solutions because he couldn't influence the people to prioritize what I sold. You see, our influence over any other person is fueled by the level of credibility that we've established. And internally, across all the people involved in a purchase decision, those colleagues won't be influenced unless your champion has earned the credibility for this specific solution in this specific situation. Have you ever known a leader who had power but very little influence? Or perhaps they had immense influence but limited power? I want you to think about the different stages and situations that your buying process goes through. And I want you to question where and how these two human dynamics of power and influence will be utilized.